Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking on two terms that, they get thrown around constantly in fitness and nutrition.
Lët'z.
And they're often used, completely interchangeably. We're going to dissect them to figure out what they actually mean for your goals. We're talking about the cheat day versus the refeed day.
And it's such an essential distinction to make. I think a lot of people hear these and just think, okay, that's my day off from dieting.
Right, a moment of freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But our sources, they really show that one is more of a spontaneous indulgence, and the other is a carefully calculated, almost physiological tool.
That's the perfect way to put it. And the confusion is everywhere because, look, they both involve stepping away from a strict diet for a bit.
Yeah.
But if your goal is real, sustainable progress, using the wrong tool, at the wrong time, it can actively hurt you. So our mission today is to cut through all that noise so you can use these breaks strategically.
Yeah, we have to establish the nuances. Think of it this way, maybe. The cheat day is like taking a totally unplanned wild vacation.
Okay.
The refeed day, on the other hand, is like a mandatory scheduled maintenance stop for a high-performance race car. Very different purposes.
I love that analogy. That makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's start with the one most people are familiar with, the classic cheat day.
The infamous cheat day.
Exactly. Can you describe that psychological appeal and just the general structure of it?
Well, the appeal is just pure, unadulterated psychological freedom. That's the draw. The whole concept, which got huge back in the early 2010s, it just offers a set period, usually a day, where all the rules are gone.
Right.
You can eat whatever you want. The nutritional profile doesn't matter. Pizza, huge bowls of ice cream, fried food, or whatever. It's permission to just completely ignore macros and calorie counts.
It really sounds like a necessary pressure release valve, especially for anyone who's been under really strict dietary rules for a while.
It can be.
But when it's a total free-for-all like that, what are the immediate physiological trade-offs we need to be thinking about?
Oh, the trade-offs are significant. And it's because that total lack of structure just invites all the high-impact, low-nutrient foods.
Fun stuff.
The fun stuff, sure, but the immediate reaction to a massive, unplanned flood of processed foods, especially high in refined sugar and bad fats, is just volatile. You get these rapid, extreme spikes in blood glucose.
And that leads to that awful post-indulgence crash, right? The fatigue, the brain fog.
You feel slow, lazy, lethargic, all of it.
And if you're hitting that wall, that is definitely not helping you get back into a good workout the next morning.
Not at all. But the deeper issue, and the sources really point this out, is the sheer quantity. The total calories you can consume on an unstructured cheat day can easily wipe out the entire caloric deficit you built over 4 or 5 days.
Wow. So one day can undo almost a full week of work.
It genuinely can. For someone focused on fat loss, one massive cheat day can turn a strategic deficit into just maintenance, or even a surplus. It's really about emotional relief, and the physiological consequences are sort of secondary or just ignored.
Okay, so the cheat day, primarily psychological relief, but with a potentially very high physiological cost. Let's pivot now to the strategic one, the refeed day.
The complex counterpart.
Yeah, this is where we really need to dive into the function. What's it all about?
The refeed day is just fundamentally different. It is planned, it's measured, and it's rooted entirely in manipulating your metabolism and your hormonal signaling.
Okay.
Its purpose is super specific: to strategically replenish your muscle and liver glycogen stores, and crucially, to proactively boost your body's metabolic function. This is especially true for people who've been on a long, consistent calorie-restricted diet.
So let me see if I've got this. If I've been in a caloric deficit for weeks, my body starts to notice this food scarcity signal.
It adapts, yeah.
And it adapts by slowing down my metabolism to save energy. So is the refeed basically a way to trick my body into thinking the famine is over?
I think we need to move past the idea of tricking the body. It's more like strategic communication.
Ah, I like that.
The body isn't tricked, it's signaled. So the mechanism of a refeed is a targeted increase in carbohydrate intake, sometimes a dramatic one for a specific period, usually like 12 to 36 hours.
And calories, are they just out the window like on a cheat day?
Not at all. And that's the key. Unlike a cheat day, the total calorie intake is often still calculated to hit a certain ceiling. And protein and fat are often kept the same, or even decreased a bit to make room for all those extra carbs. That structure is what allows it to work without causing massive fat storage.
That structural difference is absolutely critical then. So when we talk about increasing carbs strategically, what kind of foods are we actually talking about? Like, and I'm guessing deep fried onion rings are not the ideal choice here.
You would be guessing correctly. No. The emphasis is on high-quality complex carbohydrates, things that give you a sustained energy release.
Okay, like what?
We're talking whole grains like oats, rice, certain breads, and then starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes. These sources are prioritized because they maximize your glycogen storage with way fewer inflammatory side effects than, processed sugar.
And the sources confirm that keeping protein high is still really important, even with this big carb surge.
Oh, absolutely. Your protein intake has to stay sufficient to promote muscle protein synthesis. The carbs are providing the energy, the anabolic environment, for that protein to be used effectively for repair and growth.
So the refeed isn't just about fuel.
No, it's about sending a clear signal that the body is safe, it's fueled, and it's ready for recovery and growth.
Okay, let's unpack the why. Why this strategic communication matters so much, especially for metabolism and hormones. This is the real deep dive. What is actually happening physiologically when someone has a planned refeed after weeks of dieting?
This is where the profound benefits really are. So when we restrict calories over time, the body enters a state we call metabolic adaptation. Your body reduces the active thyroid hormone, T3.
And T3 is what governs your metabolic rate, right?
It's the master regulator. So when it drops, we start burning fewer calories at rest. Your body's basically slamming the brakes on the engine.
Got it.
The refeed temporarily overrides this. The sudden large influx of carbs, it requires energy to process. And the insulin spike you get, which is high but controlled because of the carb quality, it helps reverse that T3 suppression. It basically increases your metabolic rate.
It's like hitting the turbo boost button.
That's a perfect analogy.
Okay.
And that's just the metabolic side. The hormonal side is even more interesting.
Let's get into it. Leptin and ghrelin, the hunger and satiety hormones. How does the carb increase affect that balance?
This might be the most fascinating part of the strategy. Yeah. So leptin, people call it the satiety or fat-burning hormone. It's released by your fat cells, and it signals to your brain that your energy stores are full.
Okay.
When you diet, fat stores shrink, and so leptin levels plummet. This drop tells your brain two very dangerous things. I am starving, and slow down energy expenditure immediately.
And that drop in leptin also drives up ghrelin, the hunger hormone.
It skyrockets. So now you're hungry, you're tired, and your body is trying to hoard every bit of fat it has. It's a terrible combination.
The biological emergency broadcast system.
That's exactly what it is. And a true refeed, one high in quality carbs, is the fastest way to signal that energy is abundant again. That rapid replenishment of glycogen leads to a significant temporary spike in leptin.
So you're basically resetting the alarm.
You are. And that hormonal signal is crucial. It shuts down that intense hunger, can improve your mood, and it stops your body from thinking it needs to just keep downregulating metabolism for the long term.
I understand the metabolic and hormonal boost now. Let's shift to the physical training aspect. How does this translate into, better performance in the gym and faster recovery?
Well, performance is immediately tied to your energy stores. Intense physical activity, whether it's heavy resistance training or high-intensity interval training, it just depletes your muscle glycogen.
And if you try to keep training hard while you're depleted?
Your performance will tank.
Yeah.
Rapidly. And you seriously increase your risk of overtraining. You lose strength, you lose endurance. Your ability to train with any real intensity just disappears.
So the refeed is the dedicated pit stop to refuel.
It's the refueling station. By targeting those complex carbs, you optimize the body's ability to refill the glycogen tanks in your muscles and liver. This ensures that in the days after the refeed, you can maintain high training intensity, which is vital for progress, especially when you're dieting.
And beyond just giving you immediate energy, what role are the carbs playing in the actual recovery and growth process?
A critical one. A lot of people mistakenly think it's all about protein for growth.
I think that's a very common belief.
It is, but carbohydrates are highly anabolic. They facilitate recovery. When you eat carbs, you get that controlled insulin response we talked about. Insulin is a powerful signaling hormone. It helps shuttle amino acids directly into your muscle cells to start the repair process.
So it's not just preventing breakdown, it's actively helping build back up.
Precisely. It reduces muscle breakdown, what we call catabolism, and it accelerates muscle growth, or at least helps you maintain muscle mass while you're in a deficit.
Yeah.
The refeed supports the structural repair of the muscle you strategically broke down in the gym.
That is just a phenomenal argument for strategy over pure indulgence, but I do have to point out, there is one benefit they both seem to share.
And what's that?
The psychological part. Whether you're eating oats or onion rings, it's a mental break.
Oh, absolutely. And we can't discount that. The mental battle of maintaining a consistent diet can be the biggest barrier to success. Feelings of deprivation, food obsession, they're real. Both types of breaks offer that psychological relief.
And that relief improves adherence, doesn't it? If you know a controlled refeed is coming, it's like an anchor of relief in your diet plan, you're probably less likely to spiral into some unplanned massive binge.
That's exactly right. Knowing a scheduled break is built into the plan significantly improves the odds you'll stick to your deficit on the other 6 days. They both serve the function of preventing burnout. The refeed just does it while also optimizing your metabolic health and fueling your performance.
Okay, so for the listener who is now completely convinced they need to try a strategic refeed day, what are the guidelines on frequency? How often should this metabolic reset happen?
The frequency is it's entirely dependent on the individual. Their activity level and their current body fat percentage are the two big factors.
Okay, give us an example.
If you're very lean and training super intensely, let's say 5 or 6 heavy resistance sessions a week while in a deficit, you might need a refeed every 7 to 10 days.
And if you're not quite at that level,
If you have higher body fat stores and you're using more moderate deficit, you might only need one every 2, maybe even 3 weeks.
so the leaner you get, the more sensitive your body becomes to that calorie restriction, and the more often you need that hormonal signal boost.
Exactly. Because the leaner you are, the less leptin your body is producing naturally.
Yeah.
And the sooner that metabolic adaptation kicks in. But here's the crucial caveat that our sources really emphasize.
What's that?
Refeeds are complex. This is metabolic work. It is absolutely essential to tailor the frequency, the amount of carbs, the duration to your individual needs.
Yeah.
This is not a one-size-fits-all thing.
So getting some professional guidance would be a good idea.
I would always recommend it because calculating the specific macro adjustments for a performance-focused refeed, it's not simple math.
This has been such a definitive clarification. I feel like we've gone from indulgence is indulgence to understanding these are just fundamentally different tools. Let's bring this all home with the core takeaways.
Okay, the core difference is purpose and structure. A cheat day is primarily for mental release. It's unstructured, high risk, and often, very high calorie.
Wild vacation.
The wild vacation. A refeed day is a strategic tool for athletes or serious dieters. Its goal is optimizing recovery, proactively fighting metabolic slowdown, and ensuring hormonal balance through controlled carbohydrate manipulation.
The maintenance stop. And the bottom line for you, the listener, is that the key to using either of these is intentionality. You have to understand why you're choosing one over the other.
Is it pure, unstructured emotional indulgence? Or is it strategic metabolic refueling designed to maximize your long-term results?
Making that informed decision is the essential difference between stalling your progress and maybe accelerating it.
Well said.
So we'll leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. If your absolute #1 fitness goal is performance-driven, we're talking optimal muscle recovery, maximum energy for your workouts, and consistent metabolic health, why would a true unstructured cheat day ever be a more logical decision than a precisely planned refeed that's designed to maximize those very functions? Think about the function versus the feeling next time you plan a break. Thanks for diving deep with us.